What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is your boy DJ Armani alongside my co-host Victor. We are Athletics Productionz, and today we are here to interview the lovely Laura Samuels. Can you please tell us about yourself? Give us a brief introduction. Thank you.
Yeah, my name's Laura. I'm a triple jumper. My personal best is 14 meters 09. Yeah, I like to have fun. That's about it.
Okay, cool. So how are things currently going in training?
Really well. My aim is to come out and open at Loughborough International. So we have around 8 weeks to train and get ready for that at the moment.
Okay, cool. So at that competition, is it going to be the triple jump? Are you going to do something a bit different? Are you going to do some sprints or some long jump?
Definitely not.
Definitely not. That's such a strong answer. Why not?
No, sprinting, no. I don't think I could make 100 meters at the moment.
Is that due to fitness?
Yeah, I'm probably a 60 meter runner. I get past 60 and I start failing. But long jump, I've not really trained or anything towards that at the moment, but triple jump I'll definitely be doing. And it is a home competition. I only live around the corner, so all my friends and family, they'll all travel up to come and watch as well.
Okay, so good family support unit with your friends as well.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, cool. So when you're competing, do you kind of thrive off having people there, or are you a bit more like, no, I have to be by myself and just so I can focus on what I'm doing, so not necessarily worrying about those people that you know are definitely paying attention to you?
No, I think the bigger the crowd, the better the competition, definitely. And with Loughborough, everybody's pretty close by.
Okay.
So where you're competing, they're just right next to you. You're running down the runway with them right there. So it is a good competition.
Is it easy to block them out because they're right there, or sometimes can it be a bit like distracting, like you're running down the runway but you kind of like take a little peek to see what's going, like you can kind of see what's going on?
I think we're just used to it as athletes. Being on the runway, you have to be really focused anyway and concentrate on what you're there to do.
Yeah.
So you're kind of not looking at the side or who's there. Obviously you get the clap going and all the claps go off and that gets you down the runway. So no, I wouldn't say it put me off.
That's one of the questions one of the kids asked me to ask. You know, when you start clapping and it doesn't go the way you want, how do you feel?
It's awful. It's awful. So if you're at a competition, say you're at like a league competition or something like that, and you're trying to get yourself going, you're like, come on crowd, let's give it a crack. There's 10 people in the crowd and you're getting them to clap. So they'll start off, you're going down the runway, you can hear it fading down, down and down. So it's not good, but I mean, at least you tried.
Right, so if you try, and because you've got like a minute to take your jump, right? Mm-hmm. So if you're clapping and there's no one clapping, are you going to continue clapping till they've noticed what you're trying to do and take that full minute? Or are you just going to be like, do you know what? Screw it. I'm just going to have to go for it today.
I've done both. I've gone with both. So sometimes, especially if there's a track event going on and you're starting the clap off and then the gun will go and that will mess the whole clap up. So you just think, oh, forget that. I'll just run and I'll jump. But if you feel like you can get the crowd going, then you just go for it. You've got to be confident. I think you're out there.
Okay, so when was your best time, like from what you can remember, because you've been in the sport quite a while, the first time you ever clapped and the best memory of it?
I would say the first time I clapped would probably be British Championships.
Okay.
When I was probably around 18 years old, so I just came into the triple jump.
Yeah.
I might have done it through the long jump when I was younger. The best time I've ever clapped and I got a good reception was at the Commonwealth Games. Okay. Like, we was clapping along and the whole stadium was like erupting. It was crazy. So that was a good one.
How did that make you feel to get that reception? Like, I know for me, for something like that, I would have had butterflies galore in my stomach. Like, my stomach could have been doing backflips. I would have probably like just run through and fouled out, knowing me. But
yeah, it got me down the runway. I mean, I think it's the quickest I've ever ran down the runway. Getting all that support off of people in the crowd is crazy feeling. I can't even describe it.
Okay, so how long have you been doing the sport?
I started athletics when I was 9 years old through school.
Okay.
I'm now 28, so a very, very long time.
Quite a while. And when you started, I believe you was doing sprints?
Yeah.
How long did that last for?
I'd done that up until I was around 16 years old. So quite a long time, really. And even going through English schools when I was younger, I was a sprinter.
Okay.
So how did you make that transition to long jump first?
Yeah.
And then to triple jump? Because I know a lot of people are scared of doing triple jump because it's you're more likely to get injured. So how did you make that decision to go, just gonna go to long jump?
From sprinting, I was always a really bouncy person. I had so much energy when I was younger, and I was bouncing from one wall to the other and diving around. And as well as that, my mum was a GB gymnast when she was younger, so she was quite strong and bouncy. And I think my coach just suggested it one day because she was a long jumper as well. And I gave it a go, and I seemed to be all right at it. So we started training at it. So
because your first jump was 11 meters something
in the triple jump.
And you would have been, I want to say 15, 16, which is a pretty good jump.
We're taking it back now. I didn't even know that.
Should we pull up your Para 10 and just give it to you and you see it, and you can go through it?
Because it was pretty impressive jump. Would you have just thought, okay, none of the sprint, I'm going to just reduce the sprints, try and focus on the season, or did that just come like really slowly as the year goes on? You just went, okay, take a step back from the long jump and go into the triple jump.
I think I gave it a go at a competition. I think I filled in for someone to get some points at a club. At a club
Classic.
Classic. And I realised, I'm actually all right at it because I won that day. And it was a league match. But then that qualified me to the nationals, which was like the next couple of weeks, which would have been, I don't know if it was under 17 or I think it was under 20s then.
Yeah, the under 20s.
Yeah. So I went there and I actually won the championships, the British champs, the age group British champ.
With your second jump?
Yeah, it must have been my second or third. So I gave it a go, and then I thought, this is all right. From being a sprinter, I mean, I was probably top 10 in the UK at my age, and then going to number 1, I was like, yes, I like this.
So technically speaking, if you were top 10, there could potentially be something still there, just waiting in the wings to come back to the sprints. It's potential.
Well, it's the training for the sprinting. I struggle doing the 200 meters and 250s, even 150s I struggle with in training. And my coach kind of has to adapt my training so that I can get through a session. Yeah, so everybody else will have their normal session with, let's say, 2-minute recovery in between. I'll be on the side. I'll need 4 or 5 minutes in between each one. But I'm getting better. I am getting better, and I've been doing longer runs. And even this morning I went to the park run, which is really good for me.
Okay, how was that? How did that go?
Okay, I struggled around, but I got there.
Have you been doing that quite often, or is that like a new thing?
Here and there I'll do it. I won't do it all of the time. On a Saturday I only have a weight session and kind of a general strength session. So if I do a park run, it's half an hour or hopefully less.
That's a long half an hour. It's a long half an hour because I know like waking up in the morning as well to kind of go and do something that's out of your comfort zone. Yeah. It is like, can I be bothered to do this today? But fair dues to you to be able to get up and do it and then come and do your weight session, because I know for me, if I was to wake up and do a park run, I would not be going to the gym afterwards. Or at least maybe later on in the day, I'd think about, okay, maybe I should go to the gym because that's what I initially wanted to do. But yeah, fair dues to you to be able to do the 2 sessions within 3-4 hours?
Yeah.
Okay.
Trying to stay motivated, I am.
What motivates, staying on the motivated side, what keeps you motivated to still be in athletics for, let's say, 19 years? Yeah. Roughly?
I don't actually know. There was a couple of years ago, I think I got injured in 2017. Okay. I had plantar fasciitis in my feet, and it's not that bad of an injury, but as a triple jump, because you're having to take off of one leg and land it back down, it was so painful. Some days I couldn't wake up. I woke up and I couldn't even walk on my feet because they were so painful. So
you had it in both?
Yes, both of them. So I kind of took time out and I thought, you know what, do I really want to do athletics? You know, it takes up a lot of your time. You don't have a normal job. I'm getting to an age now where you're kind of thinking, what do I do? So I tried to come away from the sport and I enjoyed my summer, went on holiday with my friends, enjoyed myself. And then it got to October time and I was like, what do I do? There's nothing for me to do. And although I was working with a really good company traveling around the UK trying to get kids involved in sport, I wanted to do it myself still and I couldn't step away from it. So I'm glad that I've took it in and I've gave myself a couple of years to try and make the Olympic team, and we'll see what happens.
Okay, that sounds quite sounds quite interesting because to do the sport for so long and then you've still got that motivation to get up and do the sessions. Like, how many times a week do you train?
I train Monday. We have 2 sessions a day, so morning and afternoon. So Monday they'll be the same, Tuesday the same. Wednesday or Thursday we'll have off, depending. So we'll have a double session on those days. Then Friday we'll have 1 session and Saturday 2 sessions. So we get Sundays off and 1 day off in the week.
Oh,
2 sessions per day. So you're not working at the moment?
I'm working for a
like
company. Yeah, I'm working for a company called Sports for Champions. So we're kind of traveling around the UK, trying to get kids involved in sport, raising money for the school as well, and for us as athletes to be able to obviously live and buy equipment for ourselves. So I kind of try and work it around because I am dotted around all of the time.
Do you find it difficult to balance the 2 sessions while having to do the work as well?
Yeah, so if I've got 2 schools a day, sometimes I'll go to a school in the morning and in the afternoon, and then after that I'll have to do 2 sessions together. So I'll have to have a jump session and a running session together, or maybe a jump session and a gym session together. So it is quite tough.
Which one do you prefer in terms of having a gym session and a jump session, or sprints and jumps?
Always a gym session. I'm always for the gym session because although it is tough on your body, you can kind of just get on with it
and just do it.
But running session, not me. It's just not me.
I find it quite it's quite funny that you do a particular sport that requires you to do quite a lot of running, like in a short space of time as well, but you hate running.
Yes.
So I'm guessing when you have a jump session, it's like, oh, yay, cool, I'm going to go do a jump session today. And then when you have sprints, it's like, do we have to do sprints today?
Yeah.
Do we have to do runs today? So you said you do 150s. Is that the most you'll do in your longer sessions? Because I know with jumpers, it's quite varied. Like a lot, if I speak to different jumpers, they all have different numbers of how far they would run. So one guy that I speak to, he only does maximum like 250.
Yeah.
Another guy will do 3s. Some only go down to, some will do as far as 120, but there'll be like loads of them.
Yeah.
So where's your cap off point in terms of long runs?
I think it is different for each athlete. So in my training group, coach will put on 250s to 300 going through the winter period.
Yeah.
But for me, he'll go 120, 150s, but I'll just have to do more.
Okay.
So I am a bit different.
So instead of 4 runs of like 3s, it might be like 6 runs of 150 kind of thing.
Exactly that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Fair enough. And are those like all out sprints, or are they like, no, run hard for the first 40 and you kind of, find your way around the track?
Depending what kind of year. Obviously in the winter it's kind of tempo-y but quick. And when we're getting towards competition time, it will be full out, or we'll have differentials. So we'll be split it up into 40s, and it'll be fast, faster, and fastest. So you're kind of speeding up as you go along, which I really don't like. But I do think it is beneficial for your speed. It just kills me at the end. It just kills me.
So do you have that point in the week where like you're now just absolutely mash up from the sessions prior? Like Monday, Tuesday is fine, and then Wednesday, that break, it just like drains you, and then Thursday you still feel drained even though you've had that day off?
I think the end of the week, so the Saturday is the day where I'm like, yes, I've got tomorrow off, I can get through it, rest up, and back at it on the Monday.
Okay, sounds cool. So just going through like the age group stuff, titles, what titles did you accumulate over your junior years?
Are we talking English schools juniors or
so
juniors?
we can do it as very domestic here. So I think for you it would be Midlands, like counties and stuff, and then going on to the international stuff.
So as a triple jumper or as a...
That is entirely
okay. Let me think.
We can go with both.
So I have to go really way back where
we have to let the people know.
Yeah. So as a sprinter growing up, I at county level, I would probably always win my Leicester counties, then would come here to Midlands. I think I have a couple of gold medals, as in Midland champions for the 100 metres.
Okay.
Maybe one even for the 200, I'm not sure.
You stretched out to the 200.
Yes.
Can you hear this, people? She said she doesn't like running, but she holds a medal for the 200. Please, let's just take that in.
And then after that, the long jump, I was always pretty up there, so Midland champion. And then English schools, I've got one gold medal at the English schools for the long jump and a silver medal at the English schools. And then after that, I think I went on to the triple jump.
Yeah.
So I think I went and got a gold medal at the triple jump at the English schools. I would at the counties as well, and it would have been at Midlands.
Okay. What is English schools like for your first time to when you're now kind of like you've done it a couple of times and you know what it's like? Like how is that experience for a young athlete at the time?
At the time, it's the most amazing thing. Obviously, you're trying to get your standard to go to the English schools, and that's a big thing in itself.
Yeah.
And then you're getting your kit, everybody from your area, you've been selected, so you'd all go to a meeting, get on the bus, travel up to wherever it will be. I think we came to Birmingham a couple of times, and Gateshead, I think had another one in Sheffield or somewhere like that. And you get to see all these amazing athletes from all over the country with your team, and there's a lot of pressure as a kid going to these competitions, but it's a lot of fun, so much fun,
because you can see from English schools as well, when you do the parade, like when I did it was quite, I don't know, I wasn't expecting it. Just kind of walked out, and some of the other counties have come in really big, like the Londo Counties come as loads of people. And you can imagine, and you're just standing there, and everyone is just different sizes, different events. You don't even know what some events are. You just kind of guess that, he's going to be quick. He can jump.
Definitely for
you can just tell. And the size difference is massive at that age group as well, because it's got, under 20s to under 15s. And when you first won your first event, coming into the second one, were you more relaxed confidence, or did you already know you were the top of the year? And then kind of relax that, okay, I've got this.
It's different, isn't it? Because the age groups, you're either at the bottom of the age group or at the top. So I think when I first went into the long jump, kind of no one really knew who I was, and I was new to long jump anyway. So I would have long jumped and done quite well. It was here actually, it's in Birmingham, and I think I jumped 5 meters 80 or something under 17, something around there. And obviously no one knew who I was, but the next year I came to do the long jump, and everybody, because you'd got your medal the previous year, and people would have, this is when the internet was coming around as well, so everybody could research it. Like, but it was very new.
First place, I need to know who they are.
People would know, and then obviously I would see who I was jumping against and things like that. And I actually came and got a silver medal the second time. So obviously the pressure got to me. I think it was by 1 centimetre as well.
Ooh. Do you know, it could have been worse. You could have had the same distance, and then they have to sit through and look through everything and be like, okay, who had the better second jump? Like, I've seen that happen so many times, and I'm just like, oh, this is dreadful.
Oh, no.
I've seen it happen a few times, so I think losing by a centimetre is probably a lot better than having the same
worst
distance.
one I've seen last year in 60 meters under 20s, 2 of the girls got a similar time for the non-scoring. And they had to flip a coin.
No.
They flipped a coin.
They had to flip a coin, and at the Nationals in Sheffield, and you can hear it being announced saying these 2 girls come here, and their faces, because one of the girls I knew
that
won.
Isn't allowed.
I mean,
one of the girls I knew won, and she's never won anything. She said, I normally lose this kind of thing. So she was excited, but I was saying I could not do that. I would rather just,
Personally speaking, I don't agree with that. I would have more said, you know what, we're going to give you an hour or 2, and then we'll just do a run out and do it that way.
Yeah, push the final back.
Yeah, push the final back. Let them,
you can't do it on a
that.
coin. How's that showing your talent there?
Flip a coin.
That's just as bad as what I was seeing at the Europeans with the whole like
with
the sprints, sitting in that hot seat thing. I don't know, and obviously this is a podcast, so I'm gonna say it. I don't know whose idea that was, but that was the worst thing I could have ever witnessed for athletics. I don't know why they even thought that was a good idea, because that's pressure.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I would rather know that, okay, I've got the potential of losing my space, but I'm still going to prepare anyway, not just sit there waiting.
I didn't even mind it sitting there. It was like,
holding my ticket to the final, guys.
Ticket to the final.
Yeah.
I wasn't too keen on that. That was a bit strange.
Like, no, Twitter went crazy when that happened, because everyone was like, what is this? Even the comments were a bit.
The thing is, I saw it the first time I saw it. I was like, oh, that's new. Never seen that before. Kind of just blanked it out. Didn't think anything of it. And then started listening to the commentators talking about it. I was like, wait, you guys can't be doing this. This is not cool. I mean, I would have probably just put the sign in the seat and said, you know, I gotta go.
Yeah.
I don't really agree with this.
I'm sure some people must have done it.
They must have.
So obviously, the first heat, they'll stay. And then the next heat comes through, and if they're faster, you have to leave. Like, you have to give them everything and walk away. Like, that.
No. See, we don't have to deal with them things as field eventers.
Yeah, you guys just,
we're all good.
You know,
no, we know our one is top 6 or top 8, and then we're good to go. Like, that is it. If, like, you know pretty much during the competition whether you're there or not. Because I've seen people, like, they've taken their second jump and they're like, yeah, nah, today's not a good day, and they'll put their kit on and they'll just sit there.
No.
They will just
must
sit
have
there
been really bad.
I mean, for me, that's demotivating yourself. I would say I've still got one more jump. I need to try and just nail it on this one. But so yeah, you done English schools, you won your medals there. First senior international best.
First senior was...
No, not senior. First junior international best.
First junior was... Okay, if we put aside, you know, when you go... So when you win the English schools under 17s, you go away and you get an England vest. Yeah. And you go towards England, Ireland, Scotland, Wales. I forgot what the competition's called.
I think it's international schools.
Yeah, something like that. So that would have been my first one. But after that, they used to do a thing called the Jumps International. So I got selected as under 20 to do the triple jump. And it was in Holland. Okay. So it was my first one abroad, getting all your kit. Yeah. Your kit came through the post. It was the most amazing things. You're trying all your things on. And
mirror selfie?
I can't remember. I don't even know if the selfie was around then. Let's be honest.
You know what? The selfie's been around for a time. We just didn't have the name for it. It was just mirror photo. There was no selfie.
Well, did we have camera phones? I don't know.
2009, 2008, 2009. Maybe, I'm going to say... Maybe a Sony Ericsson.
Flip phone.
Yeah, those music phones. Yeah. They were so loud.
For me, those are the best things.
They were.
Because I had one when I used to like train and compete. I used to have one, and I couldn't leave my house without knowing that this thing was charged, because this was me for like my entire day. Like, I'm leaving my house at 8 in the morning. I'm not gonna get back till like maybe 6, 7. I need my phone. Like, this is gonna be my warm-up.
You didn't have them charger ports at that point as well.
No, we didn't have no portable chargers, nothing. The kids of today don't know the struggle of trying to warm up, and you gotta walk around, find a plug socket to charge your phone in between the competition, and then you're getting kicked out of the clubhouse because you're not supposed to be in there all this time. But yeah, so that was your first competition, and obviously you was excited to go. How did that competition go, if you can remember?
I don't even know how it went. I think I might have came 4th or 6th. I don't think I jumped very well at all. It was in stages, so there was for each jumps event, there was an under 20s, an under 23, and a senior. Yeah. So there was 3 people for male and female for every jump. So I was a junior. Don't think I jumped too well. Maybe 12 meters 40 for some reason. I've got stuck in my head. Yeah. But I was just learning. I was there to have fun, do the sport that I love. Obviously, socialise with the team a bit more, get to know. My coach came out. My mum even came out as well. Okay. Which was exciting. I'd never really travelled on my own as well, so it was a big thing.
It's a start. And now, like you said, you're enjoying your holidays and stuff with your time off. So that was the beginning. Now you're just out here traveling in between and doing what you need to do. And
any excuse for a flight, mate.
I'm totally behind that. Trust me. I'm here at work and I'm like, you know what? Half term's coming up. Maybe I could just sneak a quick flight somewhere warm. I don't know. Maybe it could work. A couple of days could work. So you went to the under-20 World Champs?
World Junior Championships, yeah.
How was that?
That was in Canada, so probably the furthest place that I'd ever been to. And
First class?
No. I wish.
Crampton economy.
Yes. Yeah, it was fun. We travelled out there. We was away for, I think it was around 3 weeks as well, so it was a long time.
Okay.
For being so young, away from my mum and my sisters, and we're really close, so it was a long time. But yeah, we got some good training in. My coach came out at the time. Competition was crazy. I'd never seen so many talented people at a young age in one place. But yeah, it was nerve-wracking. I can remember it. It was very nerve-wracking. I went into the qualification rounds. Or did it go... I can't remember. Yeah, qualification rounds. So going into the qualification rounds, top 12 get to go through to the final.
Okay.
And I was 12th place. I went through in 12th place. So I just scraped through to the final, which I was excited about. Never thought I'd even be able to do that at all. And the final came and I just thought, right, I'm going for it. And I remember my coach saying something to me and it just clicked. And I thought, yeah, that's what I've got to do. And I just ran down, took off and jumped a big personal best. Got silver medal out of it. So
12th place qualifying.
Yeah.
Because some people go the other way. 12th place, well, I don't think I can get any more.
Yeah.
Try and catch the first two and then see what happens. But, you know, that's a big jump.
Yeah.
That's a big jump to second place.
Do you know what clicked that day? Do you know what it was?
I always call it the junior mentality, and I try and explain this to people now, even juniors, that they've still got that mentality, and it's just to run down and just do it. Just do it. You don't even have to think about it. You're doing it purely on talent. I mean, I didn't train that hard at that point. So I was doing it all on talent and being confident and thinking, yeah, I can do it, and running down and getting it. But it kind of fades away as you get a bit older.
Well, you know, things change. Like competition changes. Body gets a bit older.
Exactly.
It's not as let's say flexible as it was back then.
Yeah.
So you know, it happens. But to have that must have given you a massive confidence boost. Like going forward, to say to yourself, right, I was in 12th place coming into this, and I've managed to jump up like 10 places.
Yeah.
Like that must have been...
You kind of don't believe it. It's all a bit unreal at the time. And I can remember after the competition, we went into the drugs testing. So I was stuck in there all this time thinking, oh my God, I've just won a silver medal. What am I going to do? I just wanted to go home and ring my mum. But yeah, it was crazy. Okay.
So from then, what was the next like stage for you? Because you're now the silver medalist of a... under 20s World Championship. So you're coming back to London. How did the sport kind of change for you from then?
I got home to my house, and my friends and family had made like a little surprise party, which was really exciting. Okay, cool. I can remember getting contacted for a Nike deal, so I signed with Nike the next couple of weeks, which was really exciting. I didn't grow up in a very privileged area or anything, so getting free Nike stuff was the most amazing thing ever. So yeah, that happened. I was just on cloud 9. Everything was going well. Training was going well. I wasn't hurt. And then I don't really know what happened after that. It's a bit of a fuzz. It was.
We know what happened.
Come on, you tell me.
Life happens.
Yeah.
It's life. It's athletics. It always happens. It happens at some point in time, and it's very easy to catch back. We have to just keep that positive mentality that, no, I am this good, and I can do X, Y, Z. So you said you signed a deal with Nike. What I don't know if you're allowed to say this, but under what grounds like was the contract that you signed with them? Was it like free kit? Were they paying like expenses for like hotels and stuff, like in between training?
See, I didn't even know about contracts. I didn't know you could get contracts from Nike, or I didn't even know about these things. And I can remember being in Canada for the World Juniors and people was talking about contracts and this and that, and I was thinking, oh my God, I've never even heard about this thing. Because I'm not a London-based athlete, I wasn't surrounded by all of these talented athletes all the time. I was kind of on my own. So when I got back and I got my contract, I signed it straight away. Didn't care what it said. Didn't have an agent, didn't kind of have any guidance into what to do or to ask for anything else. Or...
I said yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen that can go one of two ways. I mean, you could have signed away your whole life.
I could have. But then I think I signed with, what do you call it when you get money at the beginning of the year? I can't remember what it's
like
called.
Sports Aid?
No, with Nike. I forgot what it's called. Anyway, so you get a little sum at the beginning of the year and then you get free kit throughout the year. And then you'll get bonuses for each time you compete. Yeah. So that's what I signed for. And then I think it was about 3 days later after I'd signed with Nike, and Adidas came to me like, whatever's Nike's gave you, we'll match it. And I'm like, oh, here we go then. Here we go. I was like, oh, sorry. So yeah, that happened. Couldn't really change that. And then the next couple of years, it was a bit of a blur. I was training, but I wasn't jumping any further. I would go to
into seniors then, because you would have slowly
my first year.
How was the first competition as a senior, really?
First competition as a senior. Well, really, I see myself as a senior anyway, because I was competing at the British Senior Championships. It was just normal. I was just trying to jump far and it wasn't happening.
I've got a question for you.
Yeah.
So traditionally in athletics for the UK, I personally feel like there's not a lot of depth in a lot of the women's events, or there never used to be. So where you said you felt like a senior for a long time, is that because you didn't have the competition in your own age group, so you found yourself having to compete against the older lot just to try and get a little bit more out of that competition?
Yeah, everyone will agree with me that triple jump in the UK is lacking a bit. There isn't, not everybody's jumping very far, myself included. So it is one of those events that is open. So me coming through, and I think it was my second senior British champs, I actually won it and I was only 18 years old, and that was the most exciting thing ever. I couldn't believe it. But really, some of the seniors should have. I think I jumped around 13 meters 50 or something like that.
Okay.
But they should have been jumping more, and even as now we should be jumping more as seniors. So hopefully we've got some good juniors coming through, especially Naomi as well, which is an amazing talent. So hopefully she's going to push it all up, and everybody will be jumping a lot further.
Why do you think people don't do triple jump as much? Because everyone seems to be doing the long jump. Is it because of the impact, because it's quite complicated compared to the long jump, because it's easier to teach the long jump to a kid than it is. So.
I'm going to just throw it out there. The long jump is actually quite difficult. Thank you very much.
We have this convo all the time.
It is not just simply running and jumping. We have the same struggles that the triple jumpers do, minus their hop and step.
I had a go at the triple jump, as you said, just we need you to fill this gap, just do it. And it's just a random person in the stand that just went, you need to stop doing this because you're going to hurt yourself. And since that day, I've not done it. That day, I've literally not done it.
It's quite common because I do that a lot. I mean, when I see athletes at competitions and they're not training for the triple jump and I see them just doing it for points, I don't feel a way to tell them, listen, trust me, take your one jump and stop, because there is nothing worse than doing an event that you ain't supposed to do and you go and get hurt. And they kind of like, some of the younger ones are like, nah, but I want to try it. I'm having fun. I'm like, okay, cool, that's fine. I mean, if you're all for your club, by all means, that is up to you. But as an adult, relaying back some information to a younger athlete, trust me, in the long run, this could be very, very bad. Because, I mean, it is such a technical event, and it only takes the hop or the step to go wrong, and that's it. So, I mean,
I didn't even know anything about like the 7-meter board, 11. I didn't have a clue what that was. I just kind of like, yeah, to the officials.
Off the 7-meter board, the 9-meter board, I am the best triple jumper in the world. My technique is so perfect, and then we move it back to 11 and 13. I ain't taking off. I'm not reaching the pit.
Because the fear will be, what if you don't reach the pit? Did you ever have that?
No, I haven't. But I did switch as a junior. I switched from the 9-meter board to an 11-meter board, which is what I'm off now. And that is a big switch because it's 2 meters more of land that you're gonna have to get past to get to the pit. So yeah. Triple jump is not for everyone. I'll put that out there. It is not for everyone. It is one of the most technical events in athletics. And it's really strange because I am so not technical. And my coach, I can see him getting frustrated with me. I don't learn quickly, which is annoying for me. But I've got quite a robust body, so I don't get injured often. A lot of triple jumpers, they've always got knee problems or back problems, or triple jumpers have always got something. But I don't really have them kind of things. So I suppose I was built for the triple jumper apart from my height.
Okay, fair enough. So, like you said that you don't catch on to things quickly, and that you feel that there is a massive gap between the jumpers here and overseas. So what would it take to bridge that gap so we are on top with everyone else? And also, how do you personally feel like, okay, I can change my training by doing this so I catch this and this more quickly?
I think in the UK it's probably the coaching. I'm not saying that the coaches are bad, because we've got some great coaches out there, but maybe they just need some more direction in the triple jump maybe. I mean, I don't really know. I don't follow the triple jump in the UK or outside that much. I kind of concentrate on my own thing,
which is good,
and do that. So no, it really would be good to see the triple jump coming through over the next couple of years, and I think it will do.
You're going to be the face.
Oh, I don't know.
Sorry, I didn't want to. I just couldn't resist. I couldn't resist throwing you on the spot with that one.
I'm trying out here.
What is a typical jump session for you? Like, what kind of things do you work on, like in terms of how can I put it? Everyone has got a particular thing that they are good at in their sport. So some people are amazing starters if they're sprinters, but their finish isn't as great. Some jumpers have a great hop, step isn't as good, jump phase is amazing. What is the main thing for you that you work on in your sessions?
I think as a triple jumper, I'm quite powerful and dynamic on the floor. So give me plyometrics all day, every day, I'll do it. That's like my bread and butter. I love it, which is basically what triple jumpers do. But putting it all together, doing a hop, step and a jump and getting everything right is really difficult for me. And I think the way that I hop technically isn't the best. I don't come off the board. I do some nonsense before I take off on the runway. Don't know what that is, but that's what we're working on at the moment, to just take off and take the speed through the triple jump, because I'm not slow as a triple jumper. I'm pretty quick, I'd say, on the right day. So I think to take the speed going through the board and get a good takeoff is what I'm working on.
Okay, sounds good. Favorite jump session?
Plyometrics.
So we could
plyometrics. Put a box in there, do a box jump, jumping off a box into the sand or whatever it is. Plyometrics, I'll do that. Jumping over hurdles. That's probably my favorite session.
Okay, I'll give you a little story. I remember doing this when I was training, and I used to enjoy those sessions. Like jumping over hurdles and stuff was so much fun. And then one day, my coach at the time, he was like, I think we need to put these a little bit higher, because you seem to be clearing these ones quite easily. So I said, yeah, cool, no problem. I've got this. I did the first one, absolutely fine. And then I realized how high the second one was. and I didn't jump. I said, okay, cool. Let me go back and start again. I'll have this. Went over, jumped up, and my foot touched the hurdle. And I came down on the hurdle and it snapped straight through. And I remember landing on the ground and I was just laying like sideways. And I'd never been in so much pain in all my life. Like my ribs were sore from just literally smacking the ground. And I thought, yeah, I'm not doing this for a while. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to leave this one alone for a bit and maybe come back in a few years. Do you have any influences in the sport that you kind of, I know you said you don't watch it as much like in terms of outside because you focus on yourself, but is there one particular athlete that the way that they do something, you're like, okay, cool, I need to try and catch that because this could help?
I think the one triple jumper that I'd look up to was Yami, who's actually a British triple jumper.
Yeah.
I think she's amazing. She is so bouncy. I think I remember seeing her jumping over a hurdle once and I was just so amazed. And this wasn't even at a young age. This is even now. So watching her do certain things is pretty cool.
Okay. Do you have much contact with her, like in between training? Does she still do
No, I
bits and
don't. I don't
pieces?
really know what's going on with her. I don't know where she is or what she's doing. But I just know that she's an amazing athlete and definitely one that I looked up to.
Is your training group, like, is it just you or is there like a range of
We've
other
got
athletes?
a big group. So I have 2 training groups.
Okay.
Obviously my coach is Aston, but he has a group in Birmingham and in Loughborough. So I used to be based in Birmingham. So we have people like Nathan Douglas, who's like, I look up to Dougie. We call him Dougie. So I look up to him the most. He's like my figure that I look up to, big role model. We have Ferran Sayers, who's just jumped 8 meters this year.
Okay, cool.
Amazing athlete. He's one of the younger boys. We have Sarah Warnock, she's a long jumper. Dave Smith, he's a high jumper. I feel like I'm missing people out.
If she misses you out, it's not intentional.
It's not personal.
It's not a personal thing. We're putting her on the spot.
Obviously, he coaches Julian Reed, Kimberly Williams, who's a triple jumper as well.
Okay, cool. She's
from Jamaica. Also, Dovie Kilty, who's Richard Kilty's wife, who's a triple jumper from Lithuania.
Oh, okay.
As well. So, yeah, it's pretty cool to train in with her. But then in Loughborough, I have a different group. So I have Ben Williams, who's a triple jumper.
Yeah.
Amazing talent. And then some para guys. So we have Steph Reed, Paralympic long jumper. Olivia Breen, Paralympic long jumper and sprinter. Zach, he's a Paralympic sprinter. We have some really cool people in our group, so yeah.
How is it training in such a big group? Because I know obviously Aston's been a coach for years, so he's got the experience of doing that. But for you, what is it like? Like, because you're basically sharing the eyes for what, 3 hours roughly?
If we're on the runway, obviously it's hard because you're running down, you're taking off, doing your jumping, you have to go and get your feedback from your coach while somebody else is up there waiting to come down. Yeah. But my coach is really good, so he'll stagger our training. So 2 people, 3 people max at a time will be doing a technical session so he can get everything out of you and give you as much feedback as possible. But some days you're really lucky, you'll be on a one-to-one with coach. Okay. And that's when you learn a lot, because he's just focused on you and trying to fix certain things.
Right. Sounds good. So you said you used to train in Birmingham. Where did you train before? What was the reason you moved here? And where are you currently training now then, if you're not here anymore?
So I obviously I'm from Leicester. I always competed for Leicester Coritanians. Trained with a lady called Glenys Morton all through my athletics younger career up until 2012, I think it was. Okay. In 2012, the Olympics had just been, and it made me think, right, what do I need to do to jump further and make the next Olympics, basically? What do I need to do? And I sat down, and it was a really hard decision because I'd been there for so long and I wasn't very independent at all. So my coach, Glenys, she'd done absolutely everything for me. I just get told to turn up with this and basically I would just go there and jump. Yeah. So I decided to move to Aston in 2012, and that meant that I was driving over every day for 2 sessions a day. In this new training group that was really scary at the time that I thought. And it was a really good move. I learned so many different things, but I had to learn to be very independent. So I had to, sign up to competitions myself, which I always miss the deadline, and then I'm begging people to let me in the competitions because I've forgot to get back to them, or even booking trains or flights or warm weather or things like that. I had to do it all myself. So it was a big shock. But moving over to Birmingham was the best thing I'd probably done. I learned so much. Aston's one of the best coaches in the world to me, I think. So I'm really lucky that it's just down the road and I can go and train with him.
Okay. So now you're not training in Birmingham, you're back over in Leicester?
Leicester. So I eventually moved to Birmingham to train here because the driving was getting too much. And then I just missed home. It's only 45 minutes down the road, I know, but I missed home. So I moved back, and the reason being is because Aston got a group in Loughborough. So then I was really lucky because around the corner from my home my address, it was where my coach was going to be. So I moved back to home where it's all free and fantastic.
When you stayed in Birmingham, did you stay by yourself, or were you like with a group of athletes?
Yeah, I stayed by myself.
Okay, so you had to cook, clean,
everything. And it was quite lonely as well because I was quite young and I lived 45 minutes down the road. Not all of my friends drove. Obviously, my family are working throughout the week, so I didn't get to see anyone. It would be go to training, come home, that's it. So it's quite lonely. So it's a good choice for me to move back home. I think it's really important to have something outside of athletics to focus on because it gets onto you too much. You need to escape it somehow.
Especially during the bad. Especially sometimes during the good times, to be fair, because it can be too overwhelming.
Exactly,
and you just need to take a step back and then come back into it.
So when you, like you said, it's quite lonely and it's quite boring to be on your own. Being back home, like, what are the things that you can do to pass your time? Like, what's your secret hobbies? Let's say favorite foods that you kind of just snack on, like all of that background stuff.
So where I live, most of my friends have all got children. So my children are my dogs.
Okay,
I have
cool.
2 dogs. I take them out everywhere with me. I get to see my friends most days, so I'll finish training, go home, shower, nip round one friend's for a coffee, go round the others for a dinner, go and see my nan, go see my grandma. I can see everybody lives so close by, and I think I'm really lucky because a lot of people that are based in Loughborough at the High Performance Centre, they have had to move up to Loughborough and train there, whereas I live around the corner, all of my friends and family are there, and I can live at home, which is great.
So it must make training like a lot easier because you have so much things that you can just preoccupy yourself with in between your sessions. Like, you're not just worrying, I've got to worry about tomorrow's session, today's session was terrible, because you've got like just these little things that can kind of distract you from it. I don't know. Just trying to paint a picture. I
wouldn't actually do it. If I had a bad session, I wouldn't dwell on it. I would kind of just move on. And probably a bad thing about me, I am so laid back and relaxed, and if something went wrong, I'd be like, oh, okay, then try it the next time. Tomorrow. Yeah.
That's not a bad thing. That's a good quality to have. Because there are athletes who will have a bad session or a bad race, bad jump, and it will literally dwell on them until the next competition. And for me, that next competition could be weeks away. And if you're still dwelling on it...
the season, can't it?
Yeah, exactly. Everything could just go downhill from that one competition. But if you're so laid back and chilled, it's probably a lot easier to kind of take those bad moments and you just say, oh, yeah, you know what? I didn't sleep too good last night. That's probably why this competition went like this. So it sounds pretty chill. Like you seem quite chilled out for the position that you're in as well, which I think is good because a lot of documentaries that you watch on athletes, it's like, it's literally their life. Like you sometimes think, do you actually do anything else?
Do you sleep?
Like, I mean, I watched an interview on an athlete a couple of years ago, and it was like his life was just so timetabled. It was crazy. He was just like, yeah, I eat this on a Monday and I eat this on a Tuesday, and at this time I have to do this, and on this day I have to do this. And I was just kind of like, I'm all for like loving your sport and whatnot, but this is too much even for me. Like, what's your diet like?
Oh, don't ask me. No, you can ask me. It's not the best. It's something that I'm working on. So when I got injured in 2017, I started personal training. So I was because I was teaching somebody else what to do, I had to kind of do it myself. So I lost quite a bit of weight, and that's always been my problem as a triple jumper. You know, triple jumpers are tall and slim, well, quite skinny, and I'm quite small and chunky. So I don't look like a triple jumper. That's why I always say muscle weighs more than fat. Exactly. Everyone says that, right?
You just got to keep running. We will run with that, and no one can say anything.
Exactly. But I was trying to think of a way as well how I can jump further, and one of those issues was my weight, which is my diet. So I did start working on that, and I think I've kind of grasped how I can drop weight at certain times of the year. So hopefully, fingers crossed, I can sort that out this year. I've still got a couple kg to lose, but I'm sure I can do it.
Are we allowed to know what the target is? Or
yeah, you can do, but you'll think I'm really heavy, but I actually don't care because I tell everybody. So my target is to weigh 63 kg, and that sounds heavy for my height, but I weigh a lot. Like at the moment, I weigh about 67 kg, and about 3 weeks ago, I weighed 70. So I've lost 3 kg in 3 weeks.
Personally speaking, I don't know how you feel, but I can't see where this 70 would be.
Exactly, it's a lot though, isn't it? 70 kg.
I don't know where that would be, because you don't look like someone who would even have that kind of weight to them. But okay, so you got your target of getting down to 63. Is there a time frame that you are putting on? Obviously you said that your first competition is in 8 weeks. So is that weight for the 8 weeks, or is that more like towards the middle of the season, because it is quite a long season?
It is a bit tight. So obviously I don't want to peak at Loughborough, but I need to get some qualification marks in, because I want to go to the World Championships, and I've got to jump 14:20. So I need to jump that before British Champs, hopefully. So I need to be at my target weight. But one of the bad things that I used to do is I used to drop the weight quickly within 2 weeks, and that would be it. But I need to gradually do it so it can stay off.
I'll definitely be taking some tips on how to lose weight in 2 weeks.
So, just don't eat. I'm joking.
Don't eat. That's got to be like the worst advice I've ever.
Train every day and then
No, I just I up my cardio and scrap the carbs and things like that. But I've learned how to do it gradually, and hopefully it will stay off that way. And I think I've figured it out finally after all of this time.
Hey, no time like the present. So you said you've got your target of 14:20, which is slightly more than what your PB is at this point in time. How do you feel that journey is going to be this year? Because obviously you've been training since, say, October, November. So you kind of have an idea where you're at the moment and what you could do in between now and British Champs. And what is it like knowing that you've got such a long season? Because Champs isn't until September, October,
yeah.
Like, how is your timetable going to change from like previous years? Because you've got such a long time frame now. Are you going to compete more, train more, try and mix the two? Like, how do you find like making those targets? Because I know some people will, once they're in season, they'll kind of just compete, and that'll be their training session. Some people will do a couple of competitions here, drop off, go back into heavy training. What do you think?
I think that every year that I have, I'm constantly chasing standards and targets to get a certain distance to be able to make championships. And I think this year is perfect for me because I've got a long time period to be able to get a distance in, and if I'm going to do it, this is going to be the year. So fingers crossed I can get some competitions out and hopefully get the standard.
Do you do more international meets, or do you do more home meets?
I'm a big thing for competing for your club, so I'll always turn up for Birchfield. I'll always be there even if I have to go there and do a short approach. I've done it 800 meters for Birchfield. We get the points in as girls do, and we all rally up together.
She doesn't like running.
Exactly.
I was thinking the same
They appreciated
thing.
it. They appreciated it a lot. And I'm sure we won the league that year as well. So yeah, that 800 meters needed to be done. But other than Birchfield competitions, British Championships is like my big one that I love every year. If we're at warm weather, so say we'd gone out to America for warm weather, we'll open there at the competitions because there's some good meets out there.
Yeah.
But other than that, we'll fly around Europe, here, there and everywhere doing some comps.
Are you doing warm weather training this year? Is that on the cards or is it up in the air at the moment?
We're going over to Tenerife this year.
Okay.
But I'm only going for a week because of work. I think a couple of people are going out for a couple of weeks in our group. But it'll be a nice setup. It's the week before Loughborough, so be nice and tanned for my competition.
Okay. I'll make sure I'm there to watch this competition. I'm like, I don't know. Oh wait, she's got.
Yeah.
I know this. I remember who it is now. So you're only going out for a week. How would your training differentiate for that 1 week as opposed to you going for a couple of weeks like some of your training partners?
Yes.
Is it going to be a lot like more intense and you just focus on very specific things for that week, or are you still going to just take it as it would be and then you just maybe come back and train indoors for those other weeks that you're not around?
I think it just freshens you up. I'm basically going out there to make myself catch a tan, number one, but to make yourself feel good. So when you're doing technical things, you feel fresher in your heat, your body feels a lot better. And then when you come back, hopefully you've learned a lot of technical things, and it won't be heavy training because it's the week going into the competition. So it won't be heavy at all. And also it's a good thing to get away from everything. Yeah. So you're not working, you're not at home, not got my sisters nagging at me. I'm not going to, do everything that you would at home, drive around. You just at your hotel, walk over to the track, train, come back, focus, and you're there to think about athletics rather than real life.
Okay.
That's true.
So you've done warm weather training for a number of years. America, is this the first time you've done Europe, or have you done Europe a few times?
I have only done Europe once, and it was this year. So we went out to Tenerife in January, but other than that, it's always in America. Okay,
so how was it in Tenerife as opposed to being in America?
America's the one.
Okay.
Tenerife is a really good setup. The weather's amazing. The track is quite busy, but as the jumpers, it doesn't matter to us because we can share the pit. But I can imagine as a sprinter or a long distance runner, it's going to annoy you because there's a lot of people on the track. But it's a great setup at Tenerife. But in America, the facilities are out of this world, to the ice baths, the weather, the shops, the food, everything.
When you're out there, how long do you normally go for? Because I know it's quite a long, it's a long journey. I know some people go for like a month. What's the longest time you've been away for warm weather?
I think the shortest time I've been to America is 2 weeks. Yeah. That was the last time I went, but I went before for 3 weeks. I went for 6 weeks to Florida, to Orlando and Miami. I'd done a couple of meets out of there, and I broke it down by a couple of my friends came out to meet me and chill with me, which was pretty cool. But the year before that, I was really lucky. So I went to we went out for 3 weeks as a competition, and my agent at the time, KZ Sports, shout out to them. He's actually in my training group, Zeeks, and he was out there and he says, "Oh, you've actually been accepted to a meet in Jamaica whilst I was in America, but you have to stay here for another 3 weeks on your own." And I was like, "Oh, staying out here." So what I did, I said, yeah, I've never been to Jamaica. I like flying. I like holidays. I'm going to go there and I'm going to jump.
I mean, like it's 3 weeks with your favorite things, food,
exactly,
shopping, sun. It's not bad when you take into consideration. Yeah. I mean, 3 weeks out there as opposed to 3 weeks living here on your own. Kind of different.
Yeah. So I stayed, booked a car. Stayed at a couple of people's houses that was already there on
Yeah.
warm weather, and then I booked into a hotel for another time. And then my friend was in Miami, so I drove down to them and stayed with them, and I flew from Miami over to Jamaica, and I got to compete out there. So
Yeah.
in total, I think I was there for 6 weeks when I only thought I was going to be there for 3. And because I didn't have a full-time job at home, and I was a free agent, so I could just kind of go anywhere and try and jump far. And I went out there. It was a good comp, good experience, really hot.
Yeah. I
A
can
different
imagine.
kind of heat, yeah.
Was it like that sticky kind of heat where you almost couldn't breathe, and after the jump you're kind of like, what have I been training for? Like,
Exactly. I didn't feel fit at all. So I can remember running down the runway, and it was Lloyd Cowan. He was there, and he was helping me out for his runway. So as Lloyd is, he came down, put his chair down, and I've ran through, and I've came up to him saying, "Oh, how was that?" And he says, "Laura, wipe your forehead."
was it that bad?
It was so hot. Yeah. And I was like, "Oh, okay."
Do you so obviously you had to keep very hydrated when you was there. I remember the first time I was out overseas and I got really dehydrated, and it was simply because the water there tasted so different. Like I refused to drink. I was about 6 or 7 years old at the time, and I refused to drink the water because it tasted different. And I went out somewhere, and we was out for the day. It was like a street party. I passed out from dehydration to the point where, you know what, I was literally fed the water, and they were trying to give me the water, and I'm trying to push it back out. It was that bad. Like, did you manage to stay hydrated during that competition, or was it like?
As an athlete, you know that you need to drink all of that water, take your electrolytes. Food out there was pretty good as well, so obviously I was taking that. But yeah, I was fine.
What was the track like out there? Because obviously they're say, how can I put this without being mean? I won't say what I'm thinking. What was the track like out there as opposed to here and in America?
It wasn't bad at all. I mean, it's not the best track I'd ever been to, but it wasn't bad at all. All we need is a runway, a board, and a sandpit.
Yeah.
And as jumpers, you'll probably know this, but we always judge the sand like, oh, that sand's a bit grainy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, that sand, oh, they need to put some water on that. Or, we do. But I mean, nothing sticks in my head to say that it was bad, but nothing to say that, oh, it was really good. I just remember it being really hot. That's all.
It's a nice memory to have from it, at least. So just going back over a few points, you were signed with Nike. Is that something that's still going now, where you still get a few things from them, or are we looking for a new sponsor?
Yes, definitely. So I can't even remember when I got dropped from Nike. It was about 2-3 years ago now. I can't remember the actual year, but yeah, not signed with anyone.
When you got injured? Was that when you got injured?
Yeah. So when I got injured, I think it was. I can't remember the exact year. It feels like a long time ago when it's only a couple of years ago, really.
Did they give you a reason why?
I think that there was just dropping a few athletes because of the funding. And I think that's when Nike just signed with the British Athletics deal as well.
Okay.
Yeah. So obviously they'll probably cut in some of their funds.
Yeah.
Which at the time I didn't think it was that much of a bad thing. I was like, oh, I'll just go to someone else and I'll try and ask them. But it's not that simple, I'll tell you that.
So you've reached out to others at...
I wouldn't say I had, no. I think I sent a few emails once at that time. Never heard anything back, so I didn't really do anything.
If there's any companies that are listening to this podcast, we have a young lady here who's an amazing jumper, and she's looking for sponsorship, whether it's kit, food, water, anything you guys can offer us. Free travel. British Airways, I know you're out there somewhere.
Flight company, that would be the one. I like holidays.
She can be your poster girl for the next few years. Like, let's get the ball rolling. Is it more difficult once you've experienced it and then you don't have it? Is it difficult to go back to it? Or is it kind of like because you weren't sponsored before and then you just got this like nice gift, as I would say, to then going back to how it was before? Like, is it an easy transition, like back, forth? Or is
I would say so. Obviously, growing up, my mum always used to buy all my things, and we wasn't the richest family at all. So I know that she struggled to buy me the tracksuits and the spikes and the trainers.
Yeah.
You know, we go through a lot of trainers as kids and as athletes as kids as well. So when I got my Nike contract, most amazing thing ever. But then getting dropped from Nike, I realised how much things were because I'd never bought them before. My mum had bought them before that. So a pair of spikes now, it's like over £100. Even to buy a pair of leggings, you're talking about 40 quid. So
yeah, I mean,
it's a big difference. And even to fund those kind of things, it is difficult, especially when you're not sponsored and you're not working as an athlete. So it is difficult. But I mean, you make it work. You make it work.
So you are now obviously in control of like buying your own equipment and whatnot. Have you tested the waters with like different companies for spikes and stuff? Because I was always quite Nike driven. I always wanted to wear their stuff, and then they changed like how they made their long jump spikes, and then I stopped liking them.
Oh, really?
So I tried Adidas, and I thought, yeah, they were all right. Tried Asics for a little bit. Have you tested the waters with a few other companies and say, yeah, these ones work best for me?
I think I've always wore Adidas. When I was younger growing up, I wore Adidas. When I got signed to Nike, it took me about a year to get used to the Nike shoes, to a point where I didn't even wear the Nike shoes. I wore the Adidas ones and I coloured the lines in. But then I thought, right, now seriously, I need to wear them. So I wore the Nike shoes, and then they changed them to the new shape that they are now, because they never used to be like that. They wasn't as great as they are now. So they are a good shoe. Yeah. But when I got dropped from Nike, I thought, I wore Adidas before. Let me see what they're like. And because I have a lot of problems with my feet, with my plantar fasciitis anyway, the Adidas ones are a lot more supportive. Yeah. So I switched to Adidas shoes, and that's what I wear now. And they're a lot heavier and a lot blockier, but depending on the athlete, what you are. And triple jump is such a hard sport, putting your foot down all the time. Yeah. It supports your foot and your body a lot more.
Because I was going to say that, like, I know my favorite Nike spike, you might remember these ones. It was like it was a red and white long jump shoe that they used to have. And then they done like an all white version. Those were the best ones for me. They were amazing. And then they changed it to the shape that they have now. And I was just like, no, don't like these ones. And the reason why I never initially went to Adidas was because they just looked so bulky. And then I tried it and I was like, nah, these don't feel right. But like you said, you tried them, you had them before, so you were used to it. It took you a year to get used to that change, to having, I'm going to say, a lighter shoe and less supportive. Could that have potentially been the beginning of your plantar fasciitis?
I think I'd always had it when I was growing up. I always had like pains in my feet, and they used to say to me if I went to a physio or something, obviously it wasn't sports specific, but they would say, oh, it's growing pains, it's just because you're growing. You have a pain in your heel, or you got a bruised heel. And I always, up until the last 4 years, I thought that I always got bruised heels, and I've realised now, after seeing better physios and people, that it's plantar fasciitis, and that's what it was. And it was so bad that my heels were bruising, and the whole of the bottom of my foot was bruised. So I've worked on that a lot over the last few years, and finally got to a stage now where it's managed and I don't have any pain. And it's one of those things as well that even people that aren't athletes, they struggle with it a lot.
So how do you deal with that? Because obviously you're still doing triple jump, so you've always got it could get triggered by anything. In terms of like taking care of it outside of track, how do you deal with that? And then obviously in your sessions, is it kind of like, I'll do as many as I can until I kind of feel a little bit of pull? Like,
with mine, if it hurts, I know it's not doing anything bad, because I've got strong feet. They're just painful sometimes. But I ice my feet all the time. Sick of doing that. I got injections into the bottom of my feet, which was the most painful thing ever. And I'm not good with injections at all. I don't get all of that dry needling and acupuncture that a lot of people do. I don't do that, which is quite strange as an athlete that I'd never had it. But I had shockwave into the bottom of my heels. All sorts of different things in my feet, and I just have to make sure that they're rolled out and my calves are stretched and everything's feeling okay before I do something.
That sounds tough. I mean, I'm not one for noodles neither, so I'm totally with you on that one. On having that, was it how did you get that process of having to do it? Like, so we're gonna try and do an injection. Was you kind of like, no, not having that?
Yes.
Or was you just like, okay, it's for the greater good of my of my body, and just kind of had it done? Or was it like a process first?
Yeah, so as I said, when I took the whole year out and thought, let me enjoy life for a bit outside of athletics, and I came back during the whole winter season, it came to indoor, and that's when my feet started hurting. So I think I took that year off again after a couple of competitions, trying to struggle through.
Yeah.
But I'd already came back and done all the work, and it was really annoying me, and my aim was always on Tokyo to get to the Olympics and do it.
Yeah.
So I just plucked up the courage and thought, people had told me before, you're going to have to get them injected, it will help, blah, 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 get shockwave, it will help. But I always thought, no, I never have these things. I don't even get a massage. I ain't going to the physio. But in the end, I thought, right, I need to start investing in my body. So, I'll get regular massage. I'll go and see the physio. And I got special orthotics in my shoes, all kinds
everyday
of things.
Shoes, or like just your training shoes?
I've got them in my everyday shoes, my training trainers, and my spikes as well. So I kind of invested into it so that they wouldn't trigger off, or it would help me, and it has helped a lot. And I never thought it was.
Isn't it? It's the tools of your trade, so you need to look after them.
Exactly, and I wasn't a big fan of that at all, because I don't get massages, and I've just had a massage now, and he was just saying, look, Laura, you really need to do it. And I said to him, right, from now, you tell me if it's been too long and I haven't had one, then make sure you shout me, because I just get on with it. Every
3 weeks, every 6 weeks maybe, give your body a little refresh, and then...
Yeah, see, I can't remember the last time I had a massage. We're now in second week of March, are we? And the last time I had a massage was probably November time. So I'm not looking after my body. So this is my new thing now. I'm gonna do it.
But you don't get them. So you don't get the massages, but I'm guessing you kind of do like all the stretching and stuff yourself. So maybe that's why, because you do these stuff outside of track, where a lot of people kind of fall off.
I wouldn't say I stretch it. I don't stretch. I don't roller. I'm really bad with these kind of things. So I'm trying to learn as an athlete to look after my body. But one thing that I do now over the last year or so is yoga.
Okay.
So I'm actually now an ambassador for Hot Pod Yoga. It's all over the UK. And it's really cool actually. It's a bouncy castle that's upside down, and there's heaters in there, so it's hot. So it keeps the heat in. And you sign up on an app. It's really cool, and you do all of this yoga. There's different types of yoga that you do in this bounce castle, I call it, but it's called a pod.
Okay, so
upside down.
We're gonna stick with upside down bounce.
Yeah,
I kind of like that one as opposed to pod. But please tell me how a bouncy castle is upside down.
It's not actually a bouncy castle. It's kind of a big inflatable that you go into. It's a bit futuristic actually. You walk into like a little door, and then you've got all your mats and everything out there. And it's hot in there as well, so you can use it as recovery or just for stretching. So if I've just been on a run or been to training, I can go to one at like 10 o'clock at night just before I go to bed. All types of different things, and it is really good for you. And it's made a difference on my body anyway.
Okay. Maybe we can try it out at some point.
Give it a go. Yeah, they've got it everywhere in the UK.
I mean, I tried yoga once and it was not for me. I felt so embarrassed because some of the it was simple stretches, but the way my hamstrings were, it was going to take a miracle to get into even halfway in the positions that they were trying to get me in. Like, I've got really tight hips.
I still do yoga. Like, I enjoy doing it, but I found it harder than my gym sessions. Like, I'm sweating after yoga. I was like, I thought I came here to relax, and then just come in and just dross and sweat. I was like in these mad positions, but try as much as I can to keep up with the girls, because a lot of the girls are really, really flexible, and they just take it like that.
I'm all for it. I mean, when people say yoga's supposed to be relaxing, I am literally like, I don't know what you're talking about. It is not relaxing.
It is not.
It is one of the most hardest things that I've ever had to try in my life.
Maybe you need a different instructor.
Maybe we can
give it a go.
I'll find someone.
I'm not very good at it at all. I look around at people and I think, how are you doing that? I look around for kind of see, but it is really good for you, and it makes a big difference. It really does.
We'll see. It's still the beginning of 2019.
Yeah.
Maybe
Right.
we'll get something going.
Anyway, on that note, so you've added improvements on, you're bringing new things into stretching. So your target is Tokyo 2020. You've seen the standard that's been set out.
Yes, I have.
So what do you think about that?
It's hard. It's a hard standard, but it's not something that is out of my reach. I feel like I can jump that. I feel like I've been able to jump that for a long time. I just haven't had the opportunity, and there's a few tweaks that I need to do to be able to get my jumps in. And as jumpers, they will always go on about no jumps, and you think, oh yeah, but it was a no jump. It's quite annoying, but I've jumped it numerous amounts of times as a no jump, so I know I can do it. I've just got to get one in, and that gives me the confidence that I can do it.
All right, cool. So just before we go, targets for 2019 and I'm going to say 2022.
I want to go to the Olympics. That's my ultimate aim, and I'm 28 years old now, so I need to make this one.
Yeah.
So that's my aim. After that, I don't know what I'll do. I know that the Commonwealth Games is in Birmingham in 2022, and that's like a home games for me, big time, 45 minutes down the road. So that is my big aim, and hopefully I can go out there and jump a lot further than what I have been doing and what I think I should do.
Okay, cool. Well, from me, I wish you the best of luck on your journey for the next couple of years, and especially for this season. I wish you the best of luck in terms of getting the distances that's necessary to make it to the World Championships. Thank you for joining us on the podcast today. It's been very, very interesting and amazing. If you've got anything else to add, now's the time.
No, thank you so much for having me. It's been great.
Yeah, and thank you to Birchfield for giving us this lovely space.
Yes, cannot forget. Thank you, Birchfield, for allowing us to use your club room as an interview space. Hopefully we can do some more if possible.
I'm sure a lot of the people.
But yeah, once again, thank you very much for having the time to sit down with us and just let us know and the public know a little bit more about you.
Thank you.
All right, and we'll see you in the future.
Thank you.
This is Athletics Productions. My name is DJ Armani alongside my co-host Victor. Just want to shout out to YSN as being part of the sponsors. Thank you very much. See you later.